here. This is a hard problem. I intentionally made this as difficult as I could because, like I said, if you test on the hardest stuff, then to me, that's really helpful. If you need easier problems, then the practice exam has tons of these kind of problems. We're just doing an aging method problem because the credit sales and the balance sheet approach, they're pretty simple as far as long as you understand the T-charts. Now we have hit 40 minutes at this point, or I guess 35 because we started at about 6:05-ish. So if you need to go, you can. But if you have time, I'd encourage you to take a whirl at this problem. I'll give you 5 minutes, and then we'll get back together, and we'll see how many of you got it.
Hello. Hi.
Is the person saying hello to me, or do you just accidentally have your mic on? I'm gonna take that as all right. Just want. All right, let's go through the problem and then let you guys go. So, we know that sales is 500,000 and cash sales is 180,000. Immediately, hopefully that rang bells for you and you said, oh, there's credit sales. I need to not include the full sales, but I need to use just 320,000. We collected cash from credit sales of 315. If we remember on the charts, that's on the right side of accounts receivable. Beginning balance for allowance for bad debts is 23,300, and beginning balance for accounts receivable is 115,250. And so when I hear that I'm doing the aging method, hopefully we remembered my little hint that this is the total accounts receivable. So we need to plug that in and see if there's any write-offs before we jump in and start doing all of these discount. Well, I guess not before, but we need to make sure we do that. So here are T charts, empty and ready to go. I did the calculations already here. You got 900, 3,000, 3,000, and 19,400 for 26,300 as your total. We know that that's going to go right here because this is just like the balance sheet approach where we take this number to guess this number. While we're at it, we're going to recall that this number goes right there. So that when we, as you see in the next slides, when we get these three first numbers in there, we say, oh, well, I bet there's write-offs here because they like tricking us here. And so we put the 109,250 from right here in, and we do the math. We do 115,250 plus 320 minus 315 minus x, which is this guy, equals 109,250 to solve to find the write-offs of 11,000. Hopefully you guys didn't forget that step, because that comes over to this side too, because the write-offs are a debit to allowance for bad debts and a credit to accounts receivable. Now we do the rest of the problem. We plug in the figures as we need. We find that missing number in the middle, that 14,000, and that's our journal entry. Bad debt expense 14,000 and credit for allowance for bad debts. So hopefully that's the answer that you got. Any questions before we wrap up? All right. Well, oh, no, we do have a question. Go ahead, Josh. Great question. So the 11K came because, let's go back to here. All right, so in the information they gave us, we know that sales was 500,000, cash is 180. If we take the credit sales, which is any sales that weren't cash sales, that's 320,000. We plug that in right here. That's this guy. Cash collected is 315,000. We know that goes here because that reduces our accounts receivable when people pay us back. We have our beginning balance of 115,250 right here. And now we know that if we were just estimating, we're going to end up finding this number. But before we take that step, we have to remember that sometimes we have write-offs. And in the problem, they've hidden it, but they've given us the total accounts receivable right here. We plug that in right here, that 109,250, and then we want to solve for what write-offs could be. Awesome. Now, it might be, I'm not saying there's always going to be write-offs. By chance, you might do this plus this minus this, and it might give you 109,250. If that's the case, there were no write-offs, and that could have happened. But always check, because there's going to be a problem like this. I just know there will be. There was on the quiz, and there's always a giant percentage of students who get it wrong, like 50%. And it's probably going to be on the exam, if I was to guess. I don't get to see the exam, so anything I've said this whole review is just speculation. But I really think it'll be there. Great. Any other questions? That was a really great question. All right. So, summary. That's everything we went through. Just as a review, this is my little stat to say that make sure you know this stuff the most. I know we didn't get to go through an example of this and this, but they have lots of really good examples in the practice exam. And I was trying to give you unique examples to the best I could. So make sure you know these three approaches. Make sure you know those problems really, really well. I mean, if there's 20 questions, you got to think that given that there's like 9 or 10 modules, that they're probably going to have 2 different questions on this material and then a question on these from this section. That's my guess. And so, not that I actually don't know how many questions the exam is, but that's just my way of trying to be helpful. So good luck. If you have any questions, feel free to log on to this lab at any time. You'll see our hours here in the corner, and I'll also put them up here. And so good luck on the exam, and we'll see you guys later. Thanks for coming.